this might be a long intro. Hello, welcome. My last video was really long. I'm going to try really hard not to make this video that long, so this might be a two-part video to help with that. My foot really hurts today. I have like a paper cut. It wasn't a paper cut. It just looks like that size. A small section of my incision seems to have like split or something. It wasn't bleeding, but and I'm not going to show you that again. If you want to see foot, go to that video. It's linked below too. But I have a walking cast. I can use it, but I think I did too much yesterday and it overwhelmed my foot a little bit. I put too much pressure on it. So I'm taking it easy today, and so that's the day to get through a bunch of these projects. I've been at home for a month. What have I been doing? Well, I showed you other stuff that I was doing. I did get some other projects done, but I had a lot of little cousins visiting, and I let them, out of love, take over my computer, take over my art supplies, take over my room, and, you know, just let them have at it. I don't get to see them very often, so I just let them run amok. Anywho, so I'm going to go through and show you the projects that we're doing that I hope to get through. And yeah, so join me on our getting stuff done journey. Step one is I have a bunch of toys, a lot of troll dolls, some little fantasy fairy items. I have some squishies. Where's the other squishy? Take squishy. Things that I wanted to get done. Again, another fantasy pond item. And what I'm doing with all of these items, if you're wondering, is that some of them just need an updated paint job. Like you can see some of the paint is coming off. They're a little bit dirty. They have nail polish on them and he needs a tail redo. I was a child at one point when I attained these toys. And like most children, almost all children, I was dumb and a little bit aggressive. And my way of trying to touch up and fix toys was to cut their hair and put nail polish all over them. So there's that. Example one of like, I don't even know what's on this one. But it looks like he has nail polish. I think at one time I was trying to recreate a battle scene for some reason. And so I put red nail polish on a bunch of my toys. So those need to be updated. Also, things like this. I have a couple of little fancy things that have some very scratched up mirrors. And so I have some Colgate that's supposed to help with that. I've been wanting to. There's this whole bunch of whiteout tape. Something happened to the original tape. It went crazy. I need to rescue it. And I've had it out, and this thing has just gotten moved from spot to spot to spot. Want to tackle that today. Again, some of my trolls, like their eyes got wiped off a little bit. You can see this one's a lot smaller than this one. So I just kind of want to take a dotting tool and fix their eyes. I want to fix the cataracts. And this is one of my Barbies. This is actually one of my favorite Barbies. Her name is Drew, but unfortunately, she has lost a limb, but I have the appendage. I have the digit. It got stuck in a Barbie spoon because the Barbie spoon was once chewed by a puppy. And the puppy turned into a dog who has been passed away for several years. It's very sad. But the spoon, I put the spoon on the thumb, and then the spoon took the thumb. So now we need to do some reconstructive surgery. Got some squishies to do. I also want to be able to get to this. This has also just been one of those things that has gotten moved around from spot to spot. Actually do some origami. I was like, oh, I get to work on my origami skills while I'm, you know, off work and in recovery. Have not done any origami since. Okay, so here are the plethora of toys, just everywhere. These are the ones that I keep up on display, so I'm going to wash these and clean them off. And you might notice I have nail polish on a lot of them. I'm going to be using some acetone and some of these. I'm not worried if some of the paint comes off because I will just repaint them and that will be fine. So let's get started on that. Okay, so several dirty things later, I was actually very impressed. Not as much paint came off as I originally expected. And if you're like, well, why were you using acetone and not just normal cleaners? Again, because a lot of them had nail polish on them. And I have tried to clean them off with wipes before, and yeah, it took the dust off of them, but really nothing else. So I had to use a more powerful cleaner. And if you're like, why didn't you use a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser? Well, because it's going to give me the same result as acetone. They're both heavy chemicals. So there's that. And so now that everyone is clean, almost everyone. I don't know what kind of nail polish I used, but I tried, like, you can see where it like sort of smeared a little bit, but I really could not get this off. He's just gonna need a little paint job, but he's so cute. His eye does need repaired, so why don't we go ahead and do that? Get some paint going. Actually, let's do this first. I have some super glue. I have no idea how else to do this. But this is the Gorilla Super Glue, and we're just gonna hope for the best with this. I hope I don't have to hold this. I don't have to hold this because I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But we're just going to, just going to reattach a Barbie thumb. I should have gotten tweezers, but that's alright. We'll be okay. Maybe. Never mind. We went with tweezers. We need to be more precise. My finger was getting so sticky with the stuff, and I would have had that attached to my finger. Alright, I'm going to try and mess with it. Okay, so those have set for a little bit. I have a wet paper towel, and we're just going to wipe this off. I might actually have to take this and rinse it off in the bathroom, but we can at least oh, that one's a little bit easier to wipe off when you have the paper towel space. I have a whole roll of paper towels, you know, so we're just gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this one off. I need to rinse the other one off, like under the sink, but that's not bad. That's not bad. In the very least, it's super clean. It's not absolutely perfect, but you know, it's one of those little flimsy toy mirrors, so it's not going to be perfect anyway, huh? Everybody can see again. That's nice. I'm gonna let these dry. I might have to go over him with paint all over, but that's gonna have to wait till his eyes dry, so we're just gonna set those down. And I still have this dollop of paint because you can only make so small of a dollop of paint. I suppose I could have dipped it into the... Anyway, I'm gonna go through. There are a couple other items that have some black paint, so I'm going to get to those. So, let's see. This is actually a cake topper from when I was like 8 or something. Okay. So we're just gonna update the color, and it's an exact match. I'm annoyed with my setup because I just don't have space. I want to move. I need to get a new job and move. Anywho, not what this is about. I'm going to use some white paint and kind of go over this part. I have some butterfly clips to keep her hair out of the way. Gonna do my best to not mess with the bunnies because I do not have the talent to recreate those. But I'm gonna avoid most of her face, like her eyes. I don't want to get too close to her eyes if I can help it. Might have to go over that again with something else. We just need to update. She just needs a little bit of paint. But the spot I really wanted covered up is just probably gonna need 2 coats of paint, unfortunately. And I'm gonna have to order more white paint, is what I have learned in my life. You just go through a lot of white paint in your life. You know, it's white and black. You just kind of have to, I don't care if the artist world says they're not colors. They're colors to me. They're hues. You can get different shades of them. They're colors. And everyone who wants to argue with me in the artistic world, guess where you can shove your paintbrush. Okay. So, got a couple coats on there. I'm going to need to go over it again to like smooth everything out. And then before I set her down, I'm going to get another paintbrush and I'm going to put some sparklies. I have some glitter fabric paint. It dries clear and you just see the sparkles. I'm going to put some on her horn and I'm going to put some on the tiger just to re-emphasize some of the sparkly bits on her. Use a nail art brush for these smaller things. It just makes life a little bit easier. There we go. And then when this dries, there'll just be, it looks kind of thick right now, but once it dries, it'll just be the glitter and the sparkle, and it'll be really fun to see in the sun. So, haha! Okay, so we're just gonna make sure all his hair is out of his face, and we're just going to place, I can't do this and show you guys. Fixed that up. It's still a little tacky. Whew. As in sticky, not as in obnoxious. Might be obnoxious to somebody, but alright. We're gonna work on Belle, and I think that it's really the only thing we need to work on this one is the hair. Everything else looks pretty good to me, so let's do that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the simplest of paint jobs. This one's eyes, this troll's eyes are perfectly fine, but we need to make these 3's eyes match. This one just doesn't have eyes, this one has a misshapen eye, and this one has another misshapen eye. So we need to match that up, and to do that, I have found what I believe is the perfect size dotting tool. You can get these in different sizes, and I have them all sizes, and I'm going to use my lamp black acrylic paint to do so.